It's that moment again, the one you dream of every night. La seule chose qui te préoccupe, c'est la gloire. Le cheminement de la réussite, of pushing yourself further than ever before. But the true glory is in the shadows. Les sacrifices que tu fais, quand toutes les chances sont contre toi. When you can't push one more second, chase the glory. Visez haut.
U-Sports on CBC, les championnats U-Sport, brought to you in part by, vous êtes présenté par Nike Team Just Do It, faites-le. Baron, exclusive supplier of U-Sports championship rings. Le fournisseur exclusif des bagues de championnat U-Sport. Fox 40 celebrating a decade of the Fox 40 U-Sports Coach of the Year program. Fier partenaire des prix de l'entraîneur de l'année U-Sport depuis 10 ans. By Veraburn, proud medical supplier to university sports since 1979. Fier partenaire du sport universitaire depuis 1979. The Government of Canada. Le gouvernement du Canada. Et par Mikasa, l'étoile montante du volleyball, le V200W, ballon officiel de U-Sport. And by Mikasa, makers of volleyball's hottest star, the V200W, the official volleyball of U-Sports.
The 2023 U-Sports Women's Volleyball Championships presented by Mikasa on CBC. I'm Jake McGrail along with Toby Kerr as we get set to bring you this U-Sports quarterfinals matchup between the number 3 seed, the Mount Royal Cougars, and the number 6 seed, the Manitoba Bisons.
That's right, Jake. Two teams who know each other very well, matched up in the regular season and the playoffs. All Mount Royal winning all 4 of those games. So you bet Manitoba is ready for some revenge here at War Memorial Gym.
Yeah, looking at some of the players who we expect to have a big role tonight on the side of the Cougars, we have the big Dolly Thokboom, senior middle blocker, first team All-Star here in Canada West.
Incredibly efficient, hit over 400 for the season. Absurd, had over 200 points in the season as well, both good for second overall in Canada West players. She has also been on the Canadian women's national team twice before.
And on the side of the Bisons, we have the budding superstar, Rhea Surings, who was just named the U-Sports Rookie of the Year after an incredible first season here in Canada West.
Oh, she is a name to remember because not only did she have a phenomenal regular season, but somehow stepped it up to another level in the Canada West playoffs, averaging over 20 kills a match there. Just phenomenal. That's a name to remember for volleyball fans for a long time.
Opening serve will be coming up after the break. Live from Vancouver, you're watching the 2023 U-Sports Volleyball Championships presented by Mikasa here on CBC.
They don't do it for the likes or for the shares. They do it for the fun of it, for the thrill, for the camaraderie, for the memories. CBC Sports, just because they love it.
The winner of this quarterfinal matchup will take on the UBC Thunderbirds in the semifinal after the host Thunderbirds defeated the Brock Badgers in a dramatic come-from-behind victory just a short while ago. These two teams have both played UBC. As you mentioned, they both played each other a number of times already this season. MRU has the edge. They have won 10 straight matchups against Manitoba dating back to 2018, but this Bison's team, they caught fire in the Canada West playoffs. They beat UBC. They beat their arch rivals Winnipeg in the bronze medal game to book their spot at Nationals. And they're looking to get some revenge on the Cougars, who eliminated them in the Canada West semifinals just a couple of weeks ago. Chloe Shum with the attack, unable to get it down. Rhea Suring's trying to get herself going early, but it is blocked. That is Haley Rowe and Dolly Thokboom combining, two Canada West first-team All-Stars.
Oh, we had the two players we highlighted really coming together at the beginning. You can just see Surings, what a swing, the extension that she has on there, and the explosiveness. But at the same time, Thokboom looked well prepared. Look for this matchup all night.
That's Brenna Badowski unable to get the kill over the middle. Thokboom nearly gets it down. It will be a free ball for the Cougars. Pelland rising and firing, and that did not come anywhere close to landing on the court.
But listen, I kind of like the idea, Jake. There's some value, I think, in being a little surprising, especially early on. You're going to have Manitoba thinking about that at least. That's a possibility. It's not always going to be the classic second pass, so why not try something tricky early?
Badowski with the serve. Now Thokboom coming around the outside, just barely getting it over the tape there. Now Pelland gets it out to Shum. Diving dig by the setter Katrina Bentley. Cougars have another attack now. That is Rowe from the back row, easily handled. And we have a bit of a longer rally here as Shum goes up to the net. Controlled by Andy Almonte. Surings from the back row can't find the court. Thokboom around the outside again, and the Bisons scrambling, still keep it alive, and this time Pelland, the setter, gets it down a lot quicker. What a rally there to start us off here early on.
There's no warm-up for these two teams, Jake. We're 3 points into this game, and the energy, the emotion, the execution is off the charts. The back row defense from both of these teams, but especially from Manitoba, absolutely phenomenal. It looked like that point should have been over 3 times. What a start.
So Shum now with the serve over the middle. Badowski gets up high and gets it down hard.
Big swing there as well, really sort of picking that corner just behind the attack line. Nearly impossible to defend as she just got us some line there.
And she now goes back to serve. Pelland sets it up right over the middle. Thokboom got a lot of power on that swing, and it eventually drops. You can see why she is so efficient attacking this season.
Well, yeah, she really elevated there, and the angle of that swing, how high she gets up there, that's not an angle that you have to deal with too much in the front row, even at this level. So the athleticism as well as the height, that's an incredible combination.
Second in the entire country in hitting percentage. The Cougars calling for an ace on that occasion. They don't get it.
That's a tough argument to make from your side there. Close enough, but pick your battles there when you're going at the officials. We saw a couple of close calls really make a big impact here in the last match.
Ella Gray now at the line. She's from Surrey, BC, very close to War Memorial Gym here in Vancouver. Bentley gets it to Almonte, really having to reach back for that one, and she gets the kill.
Already with these two teams, we're really seeing some incredible athleticism on both sides. It's one thing to be able to get a kill on a perfect set. It's another entirely to be able to make an adjustment like she did there and still get that much mustard on it when she has to reach that far back.
Almonte coming off her biggest performance of the season, 11 kills and 26 digs, a career high in the Canada West bronze medal game. And on the other side, it's the other Ella Lawrence, getting the kill, and one Eleanor Lawrence will be a happy grandmother watching that one from home.
And if you're watching at home and you want to engage with the broadcast, you can send us an email, usportschampionship@gmail.com, usportschampionship@gmail.com. We had people watching from Argentina, Ireland, from Paris earlier today, as well as all across the country here. What a weekend.
That is an ace by Quinn Pelland, one of the trio of superstar seniors for this Cougars team. Pelland, Thockboom, Rowe. They've been a fantastic force over the last few seasons for this Cougars side. Just missing the end line that time was Pelland.
Well, these are two confident teams right now. A couple of floating serves that could have easily been returned. Very well read there.
So that puts Almonte back at the line. Pelland puts it up for Rowe. What a fantastic dig. Somehow it gets over the net. The Cougars try again, and it's blocked. Eve Katojo. And however, a net violation is called. You can see the Bison support in the crowd is shocked. Looked like a potential momentum play, but it is a point for MRU.
And they sort of realized there as we got the delayed celebration, much to the chagrin of the caped and rowdy Bison's fans. The herd traveling west.
That serve by Lawrence just misses the end line, so it is back in the hands of Manitoba.
I gotta try and stop gushing here, but these two teams are just playing unbelievably well to start. This is such high-level volleyball we're seeing, and it's tied. It should be tied, but this is two teams just executing perfectly.
So Katojo now with the serve over the middle. That is a kill for Maya Morgan, the Winnipeg native against one of her hometown schools.
Yeah, big kill for Morgan. It's interesting how you see these two teams are constructed. When Thockboom's off, it really looks like Mount Royal is actually giving up a fair amount of size, so they've got to be crafty to get their points at the net.
Bentley with the pipe attack, Almonte.
Speaking of getting creative to get your points, how about that? Almonte's been so impressive to start. Oh my goodness. And that was so smooth. She was way behind the attack line there and finished that one off beautifully.
Pelland now to Thockboom over the middle. Another powerful kill. As you said, she really gets up high on these attacks.
Yeah, the extension is what really blows my mind too. The height, she's already got plenty of height, but to get up that high, I really don't know how you block her. You almost have to shadow her, I think, with your biggest player if you're Manitoba.
Rowe now with the serve. High bump set to Gray. It's right back over the net. It's just barely kept alive by the Bisons. It's all they can do to just get it back over to the MRU side, and Thockboom. Rare miscue there from her. She just powered that one too far.
Yeah, she can get up there so high and so quickly. I'm not sure that was the case there, but she could almost intercept a pass that was supposed to go out to the outside. She couldn't quite get on top of that one, though. That was way up there on that set.
Surinks now with the serve, and that's an ace. Rhea Surinks making her presence felt here in the beginning stages of the set, powering it off Sarah McKillican.
First ace for Manitoba, and she has a lot of mustard on that one.
That time hits it straight into the netting, and it's worth pointing out the Mount Royal libero, Sarah McKillican, was not a libero until this season. She's normally a setter, but was converted to the team starting libero back in November. Has played in that role well since then, leads the team in digs, showing her versatility. That is nearly an ace for MRU, but it's back on their side. Rowe from the back row, flips the tape and gets it down.
Well, I really like how both of these teams are making it very difficult in the opponent's front row by being highly unpredictable. I mean, you do a pipe to the outside off of a pretty easy set piece. There was no desperation. There was no scramble. That was planned, and that's going to keep you off balance.
Bentley puts it up for Gray, and she powers it off the hands of Lawrence for the kill as we just go back and forth here in the first.
It's just great execution for both teams. Nobody's really getting ahead because they're both playing so well. They're both executing on offense perfectly. They're both playing good defense, but eventually perfect offense beats perfect defense in volleyball.
So Podolsky all the way back in rotation to the service line. She hits that one too long. So to put Thokboom back to serve.
And amazingly here, 11-10, no team has really had any sort of advantage. No player has more than 2 kills at this point, so it's even across the board here between and within teams.
Thokboom off the arms of Arnold. Kotojo saving that one, at least for the moment, but Pelland is there. And she might be a setter, but she swings quite aggressively.
Well, I love it. She went for the very aggressive hit early on, which ended up being a big miss. And did that slow her down? Not at all. Just as aggressive there, and she was ready for it. She wasn't backed up off the net, ready to set. She sensed that was coming and took full advantage.
Thokboom serve again, causing a little bit of trouble for Julia Arnold, the Bison's libero. Again, Manitoba scrambling to stay alive on this rally. Pelland going for another kill, just barely kept alive. What will she do this time? She sets over the middle to Morgan, and it's down! Manitoba, it might not be the prettiest volleyball on that occasion, but they get the point somehow.
This must be maddening for MRU because it looks like they could be up by 5-6. Manitoba's doing as well, scrambling and, you know, using pure athleticism, instinct, and skill to stay alive point after point here. Looks like MRU is executing perfectly, but boy, Manitoba's doing well.
And that is Lawrence powering it down for the kill. MRU up by 2 once again. This is a very efficient offensive team. MRU top 3 in the entire country in both kills per set and hitting percentage. Top 5 in aces per set as well. Although just 1 so far tonight. Bentley, Kotojo really just taps that one over, saw where the defense was lacking.
Yeah, that little step play, as we've learned, that is perfectly executed. And sometimes with the timing, you know, it's difficult to be able to get that big clean swing there. Sometimes you don't need to. So tough to say whether she could have put much more on it, but she picked the spot well enough, it didn't matter.
So Almonte now with the serve, tough control there for the Cougars. Rowe fires it across. Now Kotojo again, this time McKillican is there. Morgan pushes it to the back row. It's now put up for Surinks going cross court. McKillican there once again. Rowe off the hands. Again, a longer rally here as Gray from almost a standing jump, impressive kill as Shum goes crashing into the advertising boards.
Yeah, Manitoba keeps surprising me. Basically every point they do something I don't see coming. You watch enough volleyball, you kind of get a feel for the rhythm. Oh, this is going to be a point, this is going to be over. You can't get much on that. They get to balls you shouldn't be able to get to, and they get power on swings you shouldn't be able to get power on.
There wasn't enough power on that serve there from Almonte as it goes into the net. That'll put Lawrence back at the service line.
Frantic pace to this game right now. And no runs either way, so we're just seeing both teams rotating so quickly here.
Almonte handles that serve just barely. Surinks. Lawrence is there in the back row. Now Shum nearly kept alive by Almonte, but she gets the kill and is pretty fired up after that one.
Oh yeah, Mount Royal not afraid to show a lot of emotion. That's awesome for them. Different teams play differently, you know, each athlete, emotional regulation is a big thing, and my sports psychology hat on here. And some teams and some players play better really up, some play really better, really calm and in control. And Mount Royal, they play well when they're up, and they are up right now.
There's that master's in psychology coming through. That ball right up at the net. Who's going to get it? I'm surprised there wasn't a net violation called there as Shum just barely gets it through the block for the kill.
Yeah, forced that one through. Tough to see about the net right there, as that will force the first timeout. 29 points into this one, and I mean, I can't blame either coach for not calling one earlier. There's been almost no momentum, and we have our first, I believe, our first 3-point lead of the match this far in.
Yeah, Shum very involved early on for MRU. She only became a starter right near the end of the regular season, played a much smaller role for much of the year, but with a couple of players missing, including Maddie Marshall. She hasn't played since early February. There's been opportunities for others, and Shum really bouncing back after a conference playoffs where she struggled offensively, hit under 100 throughout their silver medal Canada West playoff run, but showing well here early on.
Yeah, clearly a versatile player too. I mean, we've seen her swinging away, but she's listed as a setter officially here as well. So clearly can do a lot of everything. The third year out of London, Ontario. Speaking of which, we got some fans now coming in. We've got Dwayne Huberts from Ottawa. Not really saying who he's cheering for, but he's cheering on women's volleyball, so that's always good. Oh, and we've got an international viewer cheering on the Bisons from Honolulu, Hawaii, Mike, Angie, and Anna. Keep them coming. That email, once again, is usportschampionship@gmail.com.
It will be Ella Lawrence serving us out of the timeout and serving herself an ace. MRU has now opened up a 4-point lead. Not what Coach Bentley would have wanted to see coming out of that timeout, and it will bring in Emma Benson, trying to get some defensive stability. A second libero out there for Manitoba now.
Now this is the first real run we've seen from either team. Interesting to see now how Manitoba responds.
They do control this serve. Surinks, and that goes right back off of her. Morgan and Rowe combined, and they've done a good job keeping Surinks quiet here early on.
They really have. They really have. I think that they're really keyed in on her right now, and Manitoba's obviously got some depth and versatility, but you can see she's different, she's special, and if you can keep her in check, that's probably the key to winning this game for the Cougars.
That serve clips the tape. Great save there by Almonte. Surinks, there is the power that she is capable of as she gets the kill.
So smooth on that swing, too. That one just really looked so easy. Now, the set was even a little off. She did get the one-on-one block and took it cross court there. Looking very calm, especially for a first-year player.
Now, Katojo with the serve. Pellin puts it up for Rowe. And Haley Rowe has had a strong start to this first set.
Yeah, Rowe leading all hitters with 3 kills so far. We saw Thokboom really being fed early on, but it's been Rowe since.
It's now Morgan with the serve, making the start tonight after coming off the bench in each of the last 2 matches. Surinks, that one just barely stayed in play as she went cross court. It was hard to tell from this angle. I thought it might have been out initially, but the refs ruled it to have been in play.
Yeah, they've got a much better angle than us. Maya Morgan just let that one go. One of those where we probably can't do more than deflect it away anyway.
So Bentley with the serve. Now Pellin up to Rowe. Another powerful attack, but this time it's dug out, and Surinks starting to find her form a little bit. That's 3 kills in quick succession for the U Sports Rookie of the Year.
Well, you really see what a team's go-to is when they get to this point, down a few points, and no surprise, they just feed Surinks, feed her, and why not? It's still been very effective, even if the Cougars know it's coming.
Pellin up to one of their go-to options, Rowe, but Bison's control. Now Gray on that far side, easily handled by MRU. Rowe once again off-speed attack, just barely kept alive. Free ball for the Cougars. Their third swing of this rally, all from Rowe, and eventually it ends with a kill.
I don't know, Jake, if this was totally planned or it's just been the way this game has gone, but we really saw Mount Royal already have changed their attack in a very significant way. We saw Thokboom fed a lot, Pellin being very aggressive. Suddenly, when you might think you know what the Cougars are doing, here's Rowe, just doing phenomenal work there and helping build this lead.
Beautiful set over the middle there by Bentley to Badowski, and she slams it home. Bentley, the U Sports leader in assists per set this season at over 10.
Yeah, that quick set there hasn't something that the Bison have gone to too much. Looked like it caught Thokboom by surprise.
Surinks now back at the line, clips the tape, and she gets an ace. I'm not sure if that ball changed direction somewhat after hitting the tape, but Lawrence was completely caught off guard, it looked like.
Yeah, I think it must have had a little change of direction. Tough to see from here. Second ace from Surinks, and she's got a heck of a spinner.
And that one drops right on the end line. Can't ask for a better serve than that, as the lead is now won, and Coach Shane Smith on the MRU sideline is forced to call a timeout. Manitoba not going away here in the first.
I mean, I'm still just blown away by Manitoba's back row defense. The scrambles, the balls that they get to, that even at this level you think, oh, there's no chance that they have a play on that one. Not only getting to it, but popping it up, just keeping all of these points alive that look absolutely done. And even though the Cougars have largely been in control offensively, and it feels like the Bisons have had to react some, hey, they're in a one-point game because they have just refused to quit. And sometimes it's not the team that appears to be in control, it's the more resilient team in the end who pulls it out. And here we go, it's first to 6 essentially here at this point. So I'm very excited to see how this one finishes off, because we're being treated to two teams playing extremely well in this first set.
The two coaches really on the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of experience here coaching in Canada West. Ken Bentley, over 30 years on the sidelines of Manitoba. He was the first U Sports women's volleyball coach to record 1,000 wins. On the other side, Shane Smith, only in his second season at the helm of MRU, he led the Cougars to their best ever finish, the U Sports silver medal last year, and looking to really build this Cougars team into a dynasty here in Canada West. Thokboom coming around the outside, getting involved once again with the kill.
Yeah, about time to mix her back in there as she came around the outside. Why not mix it up? She had looked pretty effective in the middle, but they went away from it here. She's got, it's a pretty tough timing play as we take a look at the head coach there. 37 years between him and Coach Reimer with UBC. So much experience in this national championship.
Bentley with the set up. Surinks from the back row, handled, and now Lawrence coming around the outside. The ball goes off the net. Podolsky saves it. Back on the side of MRU. Pelland. Thokboom mishits that one. Point to the Bisons.
Well, maybe Thokboom wanted to put the exclamation mark on that one. Looked like she really didn't have a blocker set up to challenge her as well. If she was able to keep it on this near sideline, it was pretty wide open. Instead went for the emphatic cross-card kill across her body. Very high difficulty shot. And now this opens the door for Manitoba to tie things up.
And a big moment here for MRU as Maddie Marshall has checked into the game for the Cougars. Her first appearance in a month and a half. Lawrence can't get it over. Neither can Thokboom. Cougars have it. Rowe somehow almost kept alive, but Rowe gets the kill. As we are going down to the wire here in the first, MRU up 2.
And Rowe continues to be extremely effective when called upon. She really has been excellent. She and Thokboom are different players, but they've both been quite strong and the catalyst for the offense.
Thokboom nearly gets the ace. Katojo trying to catch the defense off guard, and she does, as Lawrence was just unable to direct her dig enough.
Well, I think Katojo's quietly been really solid again. They're not feeding the middles a ton either, but she's often matched up against Thokboom, which is no easy task, and just a smart play there to get the point.
So Gray now with the serve, just missing the end line. So tough to have a service error at this crucial part of the set. The Cougars just 2 points away now.
MRU has held that slight advantage all the way through here. And this is going to prompt a timeout, the final one here for Manitoba.
So for the Bisons, they have fought so hard in this set. There have been, as you mentioned, so many plays where you think it's done, but they just keep it alive somehow. They've continually been just a point behind, sometimes tied, 2 points behind, 3 points behind. Running out of time here late in the set to get over that hump. What do you think is the messaging right now in that huddle on the Manitoba sideline?
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? Both of these teams are playing so well. It's hard to really think that you're going to make a big adjustment or a big change. I think that the message is probably get it to your best player whenever possible. Get it to Surings. She is in the back row right now, but we have seen them go to the pipe a couple of times. We saw earlier when it looked like the Cougars were starting to pull away, they just started feeding Surings, and even though Mount Royal may have known that it was coming, didn't really make a difference at all. So I think that that's really got to be the only message. You got to keep playing the great defense that you have been playing, and you got to execute. You can't give MRU a second chance because their attack is obviously deadly as well.
It is the setter, Quinn Pelland, with a massive serve here coming out of the timeout. A bit tough to control. Almonte flies in with the tip attack, and Pelland digs it out. Now Rowe gets it through the block. Up Almonte once again. Point awarded to the Bisons.
Well, they got it either way, and then this is the good rotation. Surings now is going to come into the front row. And this is huge. It's going to be best on best, though Thakboom is off right now.
Almonte with the serve. Pelland pushes it out to Rowe. Unable to slide over in time. We're the Bisons. We will have set point for MRU.
Yeah, Rowe incredibly effective. She's just getting it done in whatever way. She's often been able to go one-on-one with just a single blocker and takes full advantage of that, often going cross-court, but who knows, maybe she's got that line shot in her bag too.
The Bison's captain, Light Uchichukwu, has checked in for the first time tonight, replacing Almonte in the back row as Lawrence commits the service error. And Almonte will check right back in after that. So it's now into the hands of Eve Katojo. MRU still with one more set point. Pelland goes to Rowe once again, nearly blocked. They reverse course. Marshall, that is blocked. Badowski gives us some extra volleyball here in the first set.
And it feels fitting, doesn't it? The way these two teams have played as we're going to get the final timeout here in this set. It feels like this is a set that deserves more points. I am here for it. Let's go to 30. Let's go to 40. Honestly, this is just phenomenal to watch right now.
And keep in mind, we got plenty more sets to come after this. We don't want to exhaust everything here in the first. We got to have some sort of drama for later. But definitely a good sign for what will hopefully be another fantastic volleyball match. We already had one just a little bit ago between UBC and Brock. Plenty of high-level volleyball there. We've had some more here in the nightcap at War Memorial Gym. Of course, it's already 11 p.m. out in Manitoba, so those Bisons fans, if they're watching from there, are going to have to be staying up late here tonight.
That's right. I guess the scheduling a little kind to the truly Eastern teams here, but Manitoba, I think I'd have no trouble if I was a Bisons fan staying awake for this one because it is tight, it is tense, and it is exciting.
There's been a lot of support for both these schools traveling to Vancouver. A lot of MRU logo cutouts, some Bison shirts in the crowd. Great to see here in War Memorial Gym as Katojo commits the service error.
Yeah, this is just the beginning, Jake, but you and I regularly broadcasting here in War Memorial Gym, and I think it's safe to say it's the loudest we've ever heard it when UBC picked up a tight win before. But I'll tell you, I mean, all of these games are very loud, with another local team, Trinity Western, in it as well. You better believe the fan support across the board has been outstanding and will probably just grow over the weekends.
The senior, Jessica Oszczewski, has checked in for MRU to serve the set point, nearly getting an ace, and it's over! Haley Rowe celebrates with a massive block as the Cougars take the first set.
Serendipitous, the set ended exactly how it started. Surings hammering a hit and ultimately blocked by some combination of Rowe and Thakboom. A storybook first set. I mean, it's the kind of set where I've heard the expression, some coaches might say that there's no such thing as moral victories. I deeply disagree. If you go from a mastery mindset perspective, Manitoba played phenomenally well. The Cougars played phenomenally well. It's one of those sets where both teams should gain confidence from it, whoever won it. This is at a level where if either team sustains the level that we saw in that first set, it's going to be awfully tough for them to lose. And if they both sustain it, I mean, it's just the best. It's the absolute best, and it could go either way.
So Mount Royal takes set one, 26-24. You're watching the 2023 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championships presented by Mikasa on CBC. We are about a minute away from the beginning of the second set here in War Memorial Gym, the fourth and final quarter-final match of this U Sports National Championship Tournament. Mount Royal taking the first set by the slimmest of margins over Manitoba. MRU, as we mentioned earlier, 4-0 against the Bisons this season. The combined set count in those matches was 12-3. Manitoba unable to push any of them to 5. And they'll have to try and come from behind here and really show that spirit that they've showed here at the end of the season to get to nationals for the first time since 2014.
Yeah, and I mean, Manitoba, I cannot gush enough about the defense that they played. I do think Mount Royal had a little more control as far as the play. They exerted their will a little more, but the lack of give up there from Manitoba, the consistent getting to near impossible balls, to keeping points alive, that mentally, even if for just a second you're on the Cougars side and you think that point's over, it's that much harder, it takes that much more energy and motivation to get up again, and that's going to wear you down over the course of the set. So it was a loss in that first one for the Bisons, but they played very well, and I think it's going to pay dividends as the match goes on.
On the other side, Haley Rowe dominant for the Cougars. Match high 5 kills, match high 3 blocks, and 5 digs for good measure. And Dolly Thokboom with her 4th kill of the night. Not as efficient as she normally is in that first set, but showed her abilities right there.
And I'm not surprised at all that they're trying to establish her early on in the second set. Started with her, pretty much finished with her, but there was a little lull in between here. If they can get her going as well as Rowe, that's going to be awfully tough to stop.
Another tough control on the serve by the Bisons, giving the Cougars a free ball. Thokboom trying to go for it once again. Badowski gets enough on it. However, Badowski is unable to get it back over the tape, and so it's an attack error for the Bisons.
Yeah, a little tentative there on that swing. Now, it could have been because Thokboom was looming there on the other side and did seem to have her squared up pretty well. But a rare miscue for two teams that have been fairly efficient.
So once again, serving is Morgan as MRU looks to go on a run to start this set. Surinks gets the kill. That is her 4th of the night, although she also had 3 attack errors in that first set.
Yeah,
obviously the first name on the scouting report.
Oh, no doubt about it. And once in a while, she was really flashing, and even when she was getting blocked, those were difficult blocks to get. So she's going to be a biggest factor possibly in this game the rest of the way.
Back set out wide to Rowe. Bisons finally get a stop on her, and Chloe Shum, who's back out there, unable to get it over the net. So we've seen a couple of attack errors here early on after the two teams were fairly efficient across the board in the first set.
Well, sometimes that's if the defense is so good on both teams, you start feeling like you have to do a little extra, do something special to win a point, and then you end up giving some away. So I do think it's the defense in some ways leading to the errors.
Just barely missing the end line on the serve there was Surinks. She had all three of Manitoba's aces in that first set, does now have 2 service errors, and we will have Haley Rowe going back to the line. And Rowe gives the service error back, the 5th of the night for MRU.
Yeah, the serving has been, well, really all Surinks to the credit of Manitoba, but has been a little better on the Bison side so far. Haven't really seen the Cougars make them pay from the service line too much just yet.
Badowski now with the serve. Pelland up to Shum. Off-speed attack is controlled. Gray taps it over. It's now set up for Rowe. No one really challenged her at the net on that occasion. She was able to rip that ball across.
Yeah, it really did look a little easy for somebody who's been so dominant so far. You wonder if it's all the extra attention on Thokboom, but Rowe, for as great as she's been, is getting a lot of one-on-one swings.
Shum now with the serve. Bentley puts it up for Gray. This time she's able to really fire that one across, and she gets the kill.
But a lot of little things to lead up to that kill. The fake was really sold well there by Katojo. You just saw a little hesitation on the MRU side. So sometimes it's the things that don't show up in the stats at all that make all the difference, like in a point there.
So much earlier now in the second set, Maddie Marshall is checking in for MRU, replacing Shum. One of the kills leaders on this Cougars team this season, second during the regular season. This time, however, it's Ella Lawrence getting the kill.
Big point for Lawrence here as the second set is awfully reminiscent of the first. Both of these teams going back and forth. High-level volleyball and very even to boot.
Thokboom now. Just gets it over, and she gets the ace. Gray unable to get down in time.
Third ace for Mount Royal, and the third different Cougar to get one. Thokboom does have a unique serve. It's not a big spinner like Surinks, but she hits it from such a high point, she can just sort of angle it down without much spin. That's not one you're going to see too often.
This time angles it a bit too far down and hits it into the netting. So that'll send Almonte back to the service line.
Almonte's been very good too. Of course, we've been raving a lot about Surinks, but Almonte's been the other one attacking quite efficiently, hitting 430 after the first set.
Lawrence now really steps into that one. Hits it a little bit too long. She looked caught between two minds a little bit as whether she was going to give up the free ball or take a real swing. In the end, didn't really do either of them.
Yeah, that's well said there, Jake. Ended up trying to get a little too cute going for the back line. Didn't have quite enough topspin. Sometimes you're better to just push that one over.
Almonte, nearly an ace. Will be a free ball this time for Manitoba. Surinks, nearly rejected by Morgan. She'll try again this time. She finds the seam.
It really seems like the Cougars, they are doing a great job getting two blockers up on Surinks. They're really trying to take a shot going down the line away from her, and apparently doing so because Surinks isn't even attempting it, but she is going to the middle of the court, and especially when she gets a second shot, even with two blockers, she's hitting her spots, where when she gets past the front row, it's almost impossible in the back line.
And that was nearly a fantastic attack by Morgan. However, a violation is called. She looked shocked by that decision.
I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised myself. Not sure I saw the lift there.
So now an 8-6 Manitoba lead. Make it 9-6. Katrina Bentley fires that one over after the ball popped right up at the net. And that'll prompt a timeout to be called by the Cougars. They face their biggest deficit of the night so far.
There's something about a point there by a setter that kind of seems to prompt the timeout a lot of the time too. And especially going up against an opponent who's very aggressive and Pelland often. Bentley shows that she can do it as well. So very big point there for Manitoba. And they've just been really, really consistent. It hasn't been just Surinks, even though she's obviously an explosive weapon. And their team play, particularly the team defense, has been so solid. They're just kind of waiting for the Cougars to blink. I'm not even sure MRU has fully blinked, but you can feel the momentum shifting Manitoba's way a little bit. And you got to believe that they're hungry for revenge against a team who, again, has beaten them 4 times this year.
And for the Cougars, they're going to look to get their offense back to where it was in that first set. We've not seen Rowe establish herself as much just yet, as she was really all over the court in that first set, both offensively and defensively.
Lawrence has been a little more involved with mixed results here in this second set, rather.
So Almonte serves us out of the timeout, really ricocheting off of a couple of Cougars, and that'll be an ace after a 4-touch violation. There was definitely not 4 intentional touches there for MRU.
I almost feel like that's a call a lot of teams get away with. You know, you have 2 people going for it. I think that happens a little too often. That one is a fairly obvious one, though.
And that is another ace. Andy Almonte dropping dimes on War Memorial Gym. Now Chloe Shum will check back in, replacing Marshall. Coach Shane Smith trying to shore up this serve reception for the Cougars. And after Manitoba tried to claw their way back from a deficit in the first set, the Cougars will look to do the same. Lawrence, cross court, big kill to stop the run for MRU.
Big kill, and Lawrence really needed to get that one herself. You kind of saw with the rotation that they're in right now. Rose coming into the front row, but previously it was really up to Lawrence, and she came through in a big spot here. Still just a 4-point game, even though it really does feel like the Bisons have come alive.
And that is an ace! Quinn Pelland, who's second of the night.
Pelland, she just gets so fired up. I think it's a real trait of this Cougars team, the energy that they bring and the celebration where, you know, you may be down by 3 points still, but that ace, you might as well be up by 10 with the way they celebrated.
Bit of an awkward control there by Almonte on the serve. Now Surinks fires it right at McKillican. Lawrence trying again, unable to get the kill this time. Over the middle, great dig there by Pelland to keep it alive. Surinks again on the left side. She just barely keeps that one alive herself. Now on the side of the Cougars. On the outside, Haley Rowe, there she is, making her presence felt once again.
Well, and a bit of a scramble play led to Rowe being able to sort of split a block that wasn't quite ready for her there. We'll get another look, and yeah, sure enough, no chance trying to recover there for Katojo.
So the 3-0 run by the Cougars ends with a service error by Pelland. That'll send Katojo back to the line.
Never seen someone so happy to miss a serve there. Pelland, the body language is so positive, so strong there. Huge grin afterwards. I mean, that's someone with some strong self-efficacy.
Pelland now pushes it out to Rowe. The ball nearly tangled up in the tape there. Rowe gets a second chance, and she makes it count. Really just brute forcing that one down the sideline.
Yeah, she is really confident right now. Not even sure if she's clocking necessarily where all the defenders are. She's just zoned in on that ball and making good, solid contact, and good things are happening.
Lawrence now back at the line. And she commits the service error. Cougars still hanging around, but Bison's able to maintain their lead for this last stretch of play.
Cougars, or rather the Bison's, not calling any timeouts here, even as MRU creeps back in.
Bentley with the serve. Pelland high, back set to Rowe, really off her back foot there. Now Gray going cross court, can't get it down. Rowe will try again, takes a little bit off of it. Bentley falling to the floor, she sets it to Surings, nearly falling out of bounds as she swung on that one. Bit of a longer rally here, but it ends. Haley Rowe with another kill as Almonte's dig just went a little bit too close to the net.
Yeah, Rowe has just been incredibly consistent right now. You know, it would be predictable if it was bad, but it's consistent because it's good, because she is just executing so well that even though she's kind of going for the deep cross-court shot over and over and over again, they're unable to stop her. So if I'm a Cougar, I just keep feeding number 12.
Oszczewski back in once again to serve for MRU. Arnold pushes it out to Gray. Over the shoulder attack, just misses her mark. The lead has been cut to 1.
It's good execution there by Manitoba. Everything except the swing just off by probably centimeters, but it was a good back row set from the Libero.
And that is very nearly an ace. Great play by Arnold to keep it alive. Over the middle, Thokboom, off-speed attack, easily handled by Bentley. Now Gray gets the kill off the hands of Thokboom.
Well, it's overdue that we give Arnold some shine there, the Libero. She was huge in 3 different plays there, a couple of beautiful sets. That one was a pass over her head behind the attack line that was on a plate. That was really, really nice, and a beautiful diving save earlier there. So full credit to her winning that point.
There is another ace for Surings, make it 4 on the night. Going back to your point for Arnold, she's coming off a career-high 35 digs in the Canada West bronze medal matchup against Winnipeg. That was after she previously set her career high against UBC in the quarterfinals. Really finding her form as Surings, another powerful serve. What a set by Pelland. Thokboom can't get the kill. Now Almonte from the attack line, sent right back by Dolly Thokboom.
Well, when you see Rowe and Thokboom as a pair of blockers there, I mean, might as well just give up, slam the ball on your side of the court, because they have just been unbelievable. A wall, they're so coordinated. You see them both go up together, 2 players of different sizes who've clearly played a lot together. The chemistry is apparent. They were squared up perfectly, and they've been incredibly effective as a front row tandem.
Almonte tries again. Pelland nearly keeping it alive, but this time Almonte is able to get the kill.
Yeah, another nice kill there for Almonte. Only credited with 3 so far officially by the count, but certainly feels like she's made a bigger impact.
Badowski now with the serve. Pelland over the middle, Thokboom! And that's going to be 4 touches for Manitoba, just unable to handle the power of that attack.
Well, we're getting now to this point where this set's kind of turning into a bit of a mirror of the first one, where Manitoba is executing. They are largely controlling the play, but they just can't pull away from Mount Royal because they're playing at such a high level as well.
Shum with the serve. Now Bentley, Gray winds and fires.
And Gray needed that one. She's had some really good swings, but hasn't been as rewarded as much as you might think, considering she's done a good job stepping in to make the odd set out of desperation as well. See how she does serving.
She had a season-high 13 kills last time out in that bronze medal match. Now Rowe sends it across. Over the middle, Katojo had the sting taken out of that swing. Thokboom gets it down through the block.
2 middles going head-to-head on that one. Thokboom getting just enough of the block and then executing on the swing herself.
Morgan has now checked back into the front row, replacing Oszczewski. You can see some cardboard cutouts in the crowd, brought all the way from Alberta. Thokboom serve misses the end line. The lead is back to 3. It feels like the lead has been 2 or 3 points in favor of Manitoba for so long in this set.
Oh yes, truly. No, they jumped out to about a 5-point advantage early on. It got reeled into 3, and it really has sort of stayed glued there.
Pelland with the high back set to Rowe. Pancake by Arnold to keep it alive. Surinks over the shoulder. Not an easy kill.
Wow, defense to offense again. Beautiful pancake. Arnold has been so good. She is tall for a libero, but no less mobile and able to get down to that one. Part of what's been a stellar back row defense from Manitoba. That has led to so many points. I really think that if they weren't being exceptional with their back row defense and keeping all these points alive, they may not even really be in this one, let alone be winning right here. And that's going to force the final timeout by the Cougars.
You could see on the replay there, Bison's Prep playing with fire a little bit. Again, not challenging Rowe with a blocker at all. They're backing off, playing for the dig. Of course, Arnold was able to get it, but when you're going up against someone as good as Haley Rowe, definitely can be a bit of a risky strategy, you feel.
Yeah, certainly, especially with how effective she's been so far. It could be because Dockblum's out there in the front row, so you're really, prioritizing all the attention there, and they are managing it. You often just try and isolate the best weapon and live with whatever else happens. That can sort of backfire, though, at the same time. I mean, it's a cross-sport reference, but I think about the Boston Celtics when the Bucks left Grant Williams wide open and he hit like 8 threes in that playoff game. Not to quite draw that exact comparison, but sometimes you can go a little too extreme with one strategy and you open up suddenly a whole different tactic that you didn't think was going to kill you.
So MRU looking to make a comeback here coming out of the timeout. Lawrence's attack is stopped. Now Surinks really just bats that one over, as does Lawrence. Not the cleanest of attacks so far this rally. That was a bit cleaner, but Surinks has stopped. Now Lawrence once again with the off-speed attack. Bentley goes for it herself. Lawrence, perhaps the 4th swing she's had on this rally, still can't get the kill. Surinks can't get it either. We keep going. The reverse course, Haley Rowe from the back row. Now Surinks fires it across over the middle. Swing and a miss from Morgan. Not how you would have expected that rally to end with all the attacks going back and forth.
It's amazing to me that doesn't happen more. I just think, especially with these quick sets to the middle, I'm just blown away by how consistent the timing is. And you're almost just amazed when something isn't perfectly coordinated. But, of course, they are human, as great as they're playing right now.
Morgan trying to get one back, but Kotojo says no thank you. Bouncing it right back off her shoulder. 6-point lead for the Bisons, as you can see here. It's a great solo block.
Yeah, it's just flawless volleyball, particularly defensively right now for Manitoba.
And make it an ace. 7-point lead. Manitoba has blown this set wide open. MRU does not have a timeout left.
Well, Manitoba just keeps pouring it on. All facets are working for them right now. Few people other than Surinks getting aces. I mean, you're in great shape. Almonte with her second.
Almonte and Surinks have combined for all of Manitoba's aces so far tonight, although Almonte does commit the service error there. That'll put Pelland out the line. Cougars need a run right now if they are to avoid Manitoba evening us up in terms of set count. Bentley, the bump set to Surinks. Off perhaps to the shoulder of Rowe. Now Lawrence, powerful swing and gets the kill.
Lawrence needed that one right there. Finding her form once again as Arnold with the sprawling attempt really did everything she could. Might have been better to let that go. I think chance that one went outside the end line there, but too tough to say.
Bentley pushes it out to Surinks. Off-speed attack. Gets it down for the kill. Read the block very well.
Yeah, this is just Manitoba. Again, I don't want to be a broken record here, but they're just not making mistakes. They're just executing. Everything is going very well for them right now. I don't even think MRU is playing all that badly. I'm tempted to say they blinked, but I'm not even sure they have. I just think the Bisons are at a bit of a different level in this set.
Gotojo now with the serve. Shum hits it right up in the air. Now Rowe can't get it over the net. She'll try again from the attack line. Gotojo gets down to it. Now Surinks leaning backwards, gets it with the cut shot.
Wasn't it amazing how infrequently we've said Surinks' name in this second set? Considering how well Manitoba has played, they haven't even needed her necessarily. So it's just been a total team effort here for the Bisons.
And it is set point. They have 7 to play with. Gotojo nearly an ace. Great diving dig by Shum. Rowe going cross court, and she gets the kill to keep the Cougars alive.
Well, Rowe getting a lot more attention, I think, with Thokboom not on the courts. They're making her work for it. She was turned away by a couple of double blocks in the previous points. Not to be denied on that one, though.
So Lawrence now has to lead a charge for MRU. It's up to Surinks. Emphatic rejection by Morgan.
How about that? Morgan and Rowe right there, but I really do think that was all my Morgan. As we'll get another look at it here. Desperation. Staying alive, here are the Cougars.
That serve clips the tape, goes right back to the MRU side, and Haley Rowe says, thank you very much. That'll prompt a substitution with Emma Benson checking back in once again for the Bisons.
Good mental toughness here for the Cougars to just keep going as hard as they can. Maybe some positive regression in the luck department as well.
They still need another 4, nearly an ace. Benson showing why she was brought in with a nice recovery there. Pelland up to Rowe, took a little bit off that swing. Now Surinks, that ends the set. Manitoba has tied us up at 1, and just like earlier, we could be in for a quite dramatic match.
Absolutely, and you know what? I'm glad the Cougars got up to 20 at least, because they felt like they really actually played quite well for a team that was trailing the entire set. The offense was really excellent, but Manitoba's execution was just that much better. Fewer mistakes won in that set, and deserving here that we are tied at 1 set apiece.
So it's Manitoba who takes set 2, 25-20. You're watching the 2023 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Mikasa on CBC.
Behind the glory. Watch, listen, stream, read CBC Sports.
Hey, U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team Collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team.
So after 2 sets between the 3rd-seeded Mount Royal Cougars and the 6th-seeded Manitoba Bisons, there is nothing to separate them. We are tied up at 1. 3 of the 4 matches between these two teams this season went to 4 sets. We're going to have a 4th one here tonight as they're both fighting for a place in the U Sports semifinals. Mount Royal was there last season. Manitoba's not been there since 2014 when they won the national championship. And it is the host of the UBC Thunderbirds who await. But of course, neither of them will be thinking about a semifinal right now. They got plenty to think about right now in this quarterfinal matchup.
Well, darn right, especially because the points are not coming easy for either team. Looking at the hitting percentage, no team has even hit 250 in either set. So that really, I don't think is an indication of impotent offenses at all. I really think it's just been phenomenal defenses, both in the front row and particularly the back for Manitoba. I wonder whether we see the star players get a little more involved for both teams, because it's actually been a remarkably balanced attack. If anything, Rowe on the MRU side is getting fed as much as anybody. But otherwise, we're really seeing balanced attacks, so I wonder whether as the game goes on, we see Surings and Thokboom a little more often.
It is Rowe who has a match-high 10 kills. It is her 20th double-digit kill performance of the season. It will be Katrina Bentley to get us underway with the serve here in the 3rd. Rowe, they go right to her on this near side, and she gets the kill for 11 on the night.
Picking up right where things left off, and that's going to make Gabe, who's watching from Iowa in the United States, happy. He emailed in to usportschampionship@gmail.com saying he's watching from Iowa and cheering on the Cougars.
Rowe now with the serve, set up for Gray. That clips the tape as it goes over. Rowe from the back row now, easily handled by Badowski. Surings just misses the end line. She's hitting under 150 tonight, a little bit inefficient by her standards, does lead the Bisons with 9 kills.
I just kind of love this, though, because, you know, maybe part of the reason we're seeing the more balanced attack and some of the stars being less impactful is because these two teams know each other so well. They know that she's the one who they're going to go to, so they really have been challenging every swing. Nothing is coming easy.
And what a kill that was by Andy Almonte. Looked like a bit of a nothing swing, but she got it right to the back corner.
Oh, perfect placement. That's the kind of point that comes from just hours and hours and hours and tens and hundreds of hours of hitting volleyballs, because the touch to pull that off was incredible.
Her 5th kill of the night, along with 10 digs. And there's an ace. Surings, her 5th of the night.
That's incredible. I think that's more than either team had in the previous match, if my memory serves. She's really a special server.
Her and Almonte have combined for 8 aces already tonight. That one clips the tape and is handled by Shum. Now Thokboom coming around the outside. Haven't seen that play run too often here tonight, but she makes it work.
Yeah, Thokboom could get more involved, as we said. She's certainly getting attention. You watch the way that the Bisons are tracking her there. But when you put her in motion like that, extra hard to stay with her.
Shum with the serve, nearly an ace. Now Badowski over the middle. She's not been super involved offensively, but got up well on that occasion.
Yeah, hello Badowski on that one. That was a different swing than we've seen from her so far. She really did get up, hung down there, and slammed that ball down. That'd be an interesting other element if she can do a little more of that.
She will now go back to serve. Pelland right up in the net, gets it to Lawrence. What a set and swing combo there by the Cougars.
And Lawrence, another person who, if she gets more and more involved, I think that she could be a big difference maker. Missed on a couple and then really started to find her swing as that second set went on. Might be more involved in the 3rd, especially in this rotation.
Now that's Emma Boyd checking in for the first time tonight for the Cougars, the 2nd-year middle blocker from the Yukon. Free ball given up by the Bisons. Pelland goes right to Boyd over the middle, and she gets the kill. Instant impact off the bench.
And she's really got that Cougar sort of mentality, coming with the massive celebration. Love it. Calling card clearly for this team.
Bachboom now with the serve. Bentley, back set. Gray nearly kept alive there by Shum, but that's a wipe for Ella Gray.
Valiant effort there by Shum. But Gray has also been pretty good when given the opportunity, quietly stacking up her 6th kill.
She now serves. Pelland goes to Lawrence. Good diving dig there. However, the Bison's unable to get it back over the nets, and so it'll be a 4-touch violation.
Oh, so close there, Manitoba. They must be worn out from just throwing themselves at ball after ball, and nearly got to another near impossible one.
So Pelland now with the serve. Arnold, not sure whether she turned away because she was going to leave it initially, but in the end got up, touched it, and was unable to control it.
Yeah, just a slight bit of indecision, though I do think she was ultimately trying to pop that up. She's been so good, though. That's a pretty rare miscue, but it will prompt her team taking the first time out pretty early on here in this 3rd set, considering they're only trailing by 3. Clearly, the coaching staff saw something that they wanted to rectify.
And what we did see in those first 2 sets, it was one team ended up really hanging on to a lead throughout. Of course, that first set ended up going past 25, but MRU did have the lead for the majority of that first set, and then Manitoba held it for the large majority of the second, ended up winning. So Coach Ken Bentley not wanting the same pattern to repeat here.
Yeah, clearly, and we actually didn't see either team sort of jump out to the start, kind of like MRU has in this 3rd set. It actually stayed even until they hit about the 6-7 point mark when one team started to pull away. But perhaps at this point, they just want to ensure that that this doesn't happen, because clearly, especially with the great defense both of these teams are playing, if you find yourself in a hole, it's especially tough to dig out of. Got a little more interaction on the email here. Go Cougars and go Maya Morgan. That's from Uncle Scotty, Fife, and Rosie from Winnipeg tuning in. So saying good job in the play-by-play. That's all you, Jake. Cooper Rowe, older brother of Haley, watching her as he says dominate from Calgary, says go Cougars. And then finally, Granny cheering from MRU all the way from Jamaica. Another good international viewer. We've had France, we've had Ireland, we've had Argentina, and now Jamaica.
And we've now had a kill for MRU coming out of that timeout. Not what the Bisons would have wanted to draw up in that huddle. Cougars have now doubled up here early on after this swing by Boyd.
And Boyd has looked great off the bench. No rest at all.
He's been a starter at different points this season, also come off the bench at times, including tonight. Free ball given up by the Bisons. Pelland again over the middle to Boyd. 3 kills already here in the 3rd.
Yeah, looking absolutely incredible. I mean, you've got her as one middle and Thakboom as the other. Oh boy, that is tough to counter if we're seeing her attack that well. She's got Rowe up in the front line with her, and we're not even seeing Rowe getting set despite how effective she's been.
Benson has now checked back in for the Bisons. We've seen her in each of the sets so far as she receives this serve. Now Surinks really had to try and adjust for that when the ball didn't exactly line up with where she was trying to go, and it's now a 10-4 advantage for MRU.
Yeah, maybe Surinks and Benson a little off there. Looked like the teammates sort of got in the way, made that a very high difficulty shot. Well, it was already a high difficulty shot, made it even tougher though.
Bentley had to really run to get that one. Surinks now able to get the back row attack to work. Big point for Manitoba.
Well, I mean, that was similar to the last play, except her teammate wasn't in the way. She was sort of fading to her right behind the attack line, and she hammered that. I really don't know how it's possible that she got that much juice on that one. Really almost no chance for the back row, and tough to anticipate that you're going to have somebody get that much mustard on one from back there.
And it looks like we might have perhaps a bit of a scraped knee on the MRU side as Quinn Pelland is receiving some attention.
I don't know how these players don't scrape their knees more often. I feel like I just wreck my knees from playing like 15 minutes of volleyball, even with the knee pads there, especially the knee pads these days. When I was playing, it was the bigger, cakier, thicker ones. And maybe it's mental, but I don't know. I felt like those are more protection. These thin ones, I just don't understand how they're not banging up their knees all the time.
Looks like the operation on the sideline was a success, and Pelland is ready to go once again. Almonte is at the line. She has 3 aces already tonight. Bison's trying to claw their way back here in this third set. Rowe coming in hot, but just misses her mark there.
Gosh, that was a blast. They're so happy when they miss sometimes, MRU. I can't help but smile myself. I mean, that's just phenomenal. But yeah, she hasn't actually tried to go down the line too much. I think she caught everybody off guard, but just missed.
High bump up to Pelland. Surveyed her options, set up Emma Boyd. And she is making quite an impression off the bench as now Maddie Marshall will check back in once again.
Yeah, what an opportunity to have an element like Boyd coming off the bench. Having a player like that in your back pocket, I mean, that's an incredible luxury here.
Cougars trying to stretch this lead. Bentley, not a great setup there to Surings, and she's called for a 2-touch violation.
Well, this is the first time we're really seeing the serve receive struggling a bit from Manitoba. They've been so good on those first passes so often, and then suddenly things have gotten off a little bit. The body language has really changed as well. They're not dapping each other up in the same way. So I understand that this is a bit of an early second timeout. It's only 12-6. It's a 6-point game. Nobody's even halfway there, but I really like it. I got to be honest. I think that Manitoba needs to shake it up because they've been playing with such confidence. Even losing that first set, they looked unflapped. Maybe they're needing a little motivational talk there from the coach.
You can see Coach Bentley animated there in the huddle, trying to rally his team really during their first big slump of the match here tonight. No more timeouts after this, and we're still very early in this third set, but won't be any more chances to put a stop to things if MRU continues to roll.
Well, and I mean, this is the thing too, you know, the Cougars, their emphatic celebrations at every point, not only great for them and their own team morale, but I mean, it can be intimidating for your opponents, or at least annoying, you know, if you've got the other team celebrating like they've won a set every point. Nothing wrong with it, nothing illegal, it boosts their own team, but I think that there's an adverse effect in your opponents as well. That much harder to sort of get up and pick up your own momentum when the other team is crowing the way that they have been.
Trying to get things going coming out of the timeout. Katojo and Surings both unable to get a kill. Boyd is stopped at the net. Now Surings will try once again right at Marshall. Shum takes a swing. Now Manitoba feeding Surings once again. Once again it's stopped. Rowe going cross court. Picked her spot beautifully there.
Oh yeah, that was nice. Oh boy, was that ever a great spot. And maybe that last time when we saw her go down the line, it really set up that next kill beautifully. There was almost nothing to be done. That was just lovely.
You see almost sneaking it under the Manitoba defense on that occasion. Surings from a bit of a standstill jump, unable to get the kill. Boyd really reaching high for that one. And the Cougars are putting a blanket on the Bisons right now.
Yeah, and without timeouts, the only thing you can go to now for Manitoba is personnel changes. So Gray going back into the back row, taller player, but she's been very good back there, so might seem on the surface like an unusual substitution, but might as well at this point.
Bentley going to Surings once again, the off-speed attack. and a net violation is called on MRU. Bit of a break there for Manitoba, as they weren't getting the kill on that swing, but they'll take it at this point.
Yeah, no play on the net there. Sometimes you see a subtle one with no play on it let go, but the official's all over that one.
Katojo now with the serve. Tough to handle for McKillican. Shum just pushes it over for the free ball. Now right over the middle, Badowski! Emma Boyd sends it right back.
Feels like Boyd has just been planted in the middle of that front row forever here in the Cougars. We saw the teams furiously rotating in the first couple of sets. Now it's suddenly a game of runs, and MRU had a couple of good rotations that they liked. And of course, when you have a player dominant like Boyd now in the back row, you just bring in maybe the second most efficient player in Canada West in Thokboom to replace her.
Bentley going for it herself. Boyd puts it up for Rowe. Going cross court. It's all MRU as they have blown this set wide open.
Yeah, they sure have. They have just imposed their will the whole time. I don't think Manitoba is playing too badly, but MRU has elevated, and we're not seeing the Bisons able to pull off some of the desperation, near impossible looking plays that they were in the first couple of sets.
Boyd with the serve once again. Of note for MRU, when Emma Boyd records a block in a match, the Cougars 17-0 this season, and they get another block on that occasion.
Wow, you're sitting on that stat, huh?
As soon as she checked in, I said to myself, oh, here we go. And she did come up with a block, and this time it was Thokboom and Rowe, that duo that you talked about earlier in this match. So formidable to go up against. Now a 10-point advantage. Surinks can't get it going again. Thokboom with the block. We're now going to have Light Uchichukwu check in for Almonte on the side of Manitoba, but looks like it's just a foregone conclusion now who's going to win this third set.
Well, yeah, it certainly does. And I mean, that's a pretty dispiriting one when you have the block and it drops right in the middle of everybody. It's a tough play. You don't want to run into somebody in a set that's more or less over, but at the same time, that's about as dispiriting as it gets. Now, good to see Chechukwu in there. She's the captain of this team, but really hasn't played a ton so far. Pretty good numbers on the year.
Came off the bench for much of the Canada West playoffs as well. Rowe might have gone off the head there of Badowski. Now Shum going cross court, and a violation is called on the Bisons.
Now, while this set is becoming a little bit of a landslide at this point, and maybe having the captain out there can at least help salvage a few points and bring the morale back up, because even if this set is all but over, the match certainly is not.
Set up by Bentley to Gray. Dug out. Now Pellin goes for it herself. Arnold with the diving dig. Surinks off the hands, and she finally gets a kill to go after really struggling on her last however many attacks in this set.
Yeah, much needed there, much needed. I think it would go a long way for the Psyche of Manitoba if they were able to make at least a run here, make it look close, show some life going into the fourth set.
Surinks, another ace! That's been one category that she's not been easy to stop in tonight.
Yeah, up to double-digit kills also, though it has honestly felt a little quiet, sporadic in her effectiveness. But the serving has been unbelievable.
And that's another one. She ties her season high with 7 aces.
And her serves, I mean, almost single-handedly pulled them back into the very first set. And now it's going to prompt a timeout because, you know, a comfortable double-digit lead is suddenly 8. Still fairly comfortable, but it's at least enough to make you sweat a little bit here. So I think that's something to hang your hat on here for Manitoba.
Very much a preemptive timeout here by Coach Shane Smith after the Bisons reel off 3 in a row. Like you said, 8-point deficit in this later portion of the set. Feels like it should be pretty comfortable, but obviously not wanting to risk any of it slipping away here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, better safe than sorry. If there was even the door open to a near big comeback, I think that counterintuitively, nearly blowing a huge lead, even if you win the set, can kind of have your team on its heels. You want to maintain the positive momentum, and when you have this big of a lead, or have this big of a lead, it's often about how you win. Ultimately, of course, it's that you win the set, but I think that the carryover momentum-wise could be dramatically affected because a Manitoba run, even if they lose, they make it close. I think that could really affect the way both teams approach the fourth. Get a couple more emails here, Jake, to usportschampionship@gmail.com. Haley Rose Grandma Hazel cheering from Alberta for Haley and the Cougars. And we've got rooting for Dolly Thockboom. Shout outs to her from Marcel in Métis Nation in Edmonton.
And coming out of that timeout, that is a service error for Rhea Surinks. That is her third of the night. That'll put Chloe Shum back at the line.
There you go. It's already a good timeout. Iced the incredible server.
And that is very nearly an ace. Bentley doing all she can to throw her body to the floor to save it. Thockboom nearly rejected. It will be a free ball for Manitoba. Bentley, back set to Gray. Hits it right at Rowe. Not a great recovery there by MRU, and they give up another free ball. They go right back to Gray to the Bisons. Again, can't get the kill. Now Badowski over the middle.
Well, that was good defense to offense there for Manitoba. They were finally able to stop Thockboom on that step play where she came around. They got two blockers on her there, so it's a very good job. You know, out of context, that was a pretty great point all around.
So Badowski back to serve. And that goes all the way back to the Manitoba side. Surinks with the pipe. It might be perhaps a little bit too late, but Manitoba, as you talked about, going on a bit of a run here, trying to get some of that good feeling back.
Yeah, these points still matter. I strongly believe that, and good to see her involved from the back row again. We saw that in the first set. Hadn't really seen it since.
Again, Badowski's serve causing problems. Thockboom sprawling there to keep it alive. Marshall unable to get the kill. They go right back to her on the outside. Takes a bit of speed off that one. Now Uchichukwu trying to get on the board. Unable to do so. And Pelland reads the play beautifully. Almost a no-look there. Pushing it all the way to the back corner.
Oh, yeah, that was really nice. You don't see setters try that too often. Usually look for the obvious one, the dead empty space. And she instead picked a corner, though I agree. I don't know how she saw it. And flicked that one to a near impossible spot. That was highly unexpected and excellently executed.
Ella Lawrence has now checked back in for MRU, replacing Marshall as Thockboom commits the service error. That'll put Ella Gray back at the line. That serve clips the tape, but Lawrence gets down to it. Boyd taps it across. Two players colliding on the Manitoba side. It's a free ball for the Cougars. Lawrence swings off the hands. Gray saves it. Pushed out Uchichukwu. Easily handled right up at the net. It's going on both sides, and Pelland will get credit, I believe, for another kill.
Yep, just won the little match, the little backyard volleyball match that we saw there. Again, though, some valiant efforts there by Manitoba. I really do think they're kind of finding their defense quietly, even though they haven't cut the deficit down all that much. They're keeping points alive suddenly for longer, making points a little more uncomfortable at the very least.
Pelland, I believe, now up to 4 kills for the setter as Uchichukwu powers that swing right into the net. MRU now just 2 points away from closing out this third.
Yeah, just a little off on there, but one player I want to highlight there, Ella Gray, who's about 6 feet tall and playing the back row so well. She's doing a really good job on the serve receive and making first passes quite well also.
That is a service error there by Pelland. Now going to have another substitution with Almonte checking back in to serve.
Almonte likely just getting a bit of a rest here in the blowout situation, but you never know. She's been great, couple aces already.
Pelland sets it up for Rowe. Haven't seen her as much recently, but showing she's still very much in form.
Yeah, big time. They're even, I think, adjusting their approach to her, giving her some more attention. 2 blockers there, and nonetheless, she's able to power it down the line off the block.
Set point now for the Cougars. Lawrence with the serve. Bentley gets it to Katojo. She's been fairly quiet offensively tonight, but gets the kill there.
Yeah, obviously, you know, the great games are coming from the MRU middles, but the middles for Manitoba, they're flash once in a while, and you wonder if they work that into the offense more consistently, things might go a little different.
Katojo now at the line. Great play by McKillican to keep it alive. Shum unable to get it over the net. Now Boyd gets the kill, and MRU closes out a dominant third set.
Yeah, dominant is the word. They were just excellent from start to finish. I think that Manitoba did find itself a little later on, but it was a bit of a lack of consistency for Manitoba, even though they've been so consistent to this point. But I'm not sure, Jake. Sometimes you see a third set be decisive and you think, hey, this one's over. This team has woken up. This is it. I don't think so. I think the fourth is still going to be anyone's set because we've seen Manitoba play just as well earlier in the evening.
So it is Mount Royal who takes set 3, 25-16. You're watching the 2023 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Mikasa on CBC. About a minute away from the beginning of the fourth set here in War Memorial Gym. Mount Royal with a chance to close out this quarterfinal matchup and advance to the U Sports semifinals.
Well, Mount Royal, they really turned it on there in that third set. I mean, they've been playing quite well the whole time, and so has Manitoba. We did see Manitoba really sort of lose its momentum. That both of these teams, as high level as their opponents have been playing, they've been standing up to it, even if they're on the wrong side. It was a couple of close matchups in the first 2 sets. Manitoba did shut it down a little bit there, so we got to see a test of their resilience here against a boisterous MRU team who has beaten them 4 times in a row, as mentioned. So now you wonder, Jake, whether these teams fall into the familiar narrative that we've seen 4 times, or whether you see the mental toughness of Manitoba's team to rewrite the story a little bit.
On the side of MRU, Emma Boyd is still out there to begin this fourth set.
As we look at some of the numbers from the first 3 sets, the efficiency for the attacks really jumps out in that third one. Under 100 Manitoba hit. Meanwhile, on the other side, nearly 500 for Mount Royal. So that really says it all. It's kind of amazing that the score wasn't a little more lopsided considering the disparity in efficiency.
Right, yeah, Soring's trying to get the set started with a kill, unable to do so. Bentley over the middle, Bedoski. She's had a few powerful swings here tonight when she's had the ball set up to her.
Yeah, she really has flashed once in a while here. And it's not something that they've gone to consistently, but has looked good.
So Surinks now with the serve. Pelland to Thokboom. Unable to get it down for the kill. Now Almonte nearly blocked. It's back on the MRU side. Pelland to Chloe Shum, and she gets the kill. That is her 4th of the night.
Versatile Shum doing a very good job. She's been a little bit in and out of the game plan as far as a regular offensive weapon, but she is doing well there, given the opportunity here in this 4th set.
So we have Haley Rowe back at the line, but first Ella Gray needs to retie one of her shoes. Manitoba trying to rebound after a very tough 3rd set. Need to do much better here in the 4th if they are to force a 5th and final one, and that'll certainly help a service error committed by the Cougars.
Well, it's tough to say now whether the defense just regressed a little bit for Manitoba or whether they were just at such an unsustainably fantastic level, particularly in the back row those first couple sets. It just couldn't be sustained. But we will see if they can find it again. I think they are still very much in this.
Rowe pushes it across, easily handled. Now Kotojo over the middle, nearly blocked. It's all Manitoba can do to just send it across for a free ball. Pelland, Thokboom coming around the outside, dug out by Surinks, and Pelland is there once again. The setter now has 5 kills along with her 35 assists.
Wow. Yeah, she's an unusual setter sitting at 5'11", so that's going to let you do a few more things, I think, than most in this league. But not only does she have the size, but she has the vision and the aggressiveness to take advantage.
Almonte bumps it up. Surinks from the back row, easily handled by McKillican. Pelland with the back set to Rowe, and that back row attack goes cross court for the kill.
There you go, Rowe getting fed once again. Catalyst for the offense early on, still easily leading the way with 14 kills for MRU.
Shum now with the serve. Tough control there for Arnold initially, but Kotojo very nearly gets the kill. MRU keeps it alive. Bentley goes to Gray, and she fires it off the arms of the block.
Yeah, Gray a little hemmed in there by the location and the proximity to the net of that pass, but still did a good job to play it off the blocker. Nothing more you could do than hammer that and hope for good things, and good things did happen.
Gray now with the serve. Pelland gets it to Lawrence. Kept alive just barely. A couple of Bison stumbling on the court there. It's back out to Lawrence once again, and this time she puts it right in the middle of the court.
And Lawrence's grandmother, Eleanor, watching from Ontario. She emailed in a few minutes ago. 1 o'clock in Ontario. Go Cougars, she says. Playing so well, ladies. Proud grandma, Eleanor Lawrence. Staying up late.
You got to do whatever it takes when a U Sports Championship is on the line, as Thokboom commits the service error there.
Thokboom's been a little boom or bust serving so far. Does have that one ace. A few errors as well.
And one player who has multiple aces, Andy Almonte, back at the line. Will it drop for a 4th? No, it won't, as Pelland powers it across. Kotojo over the middle. Up at the net once again. Cougars hanging on. Lawrence gets the kill, or rather a net violation is called, but it would have been a kill otherwise.
Well, somebody we probably haven't credited enough is the libero, Sarah McKillican. She made a couple of great plays there, really muscled that one over in what could have been a broken play. It was a floating ball, but she had to knock that a long way. So some good strength as well as the agility that she's displayed and being so consistent.
Sorings gets the kill. She's hitting only just barely over 100 here tonight as the Cougars have really honed in on her, but gets a powerful kill on that occasion for her 14th.
This is more reminiscent of the first couple of sets when these two teams couldn't find any separation until we pretty much hit double digits.
And Katojo gets the ace. Shaman McKillican, they didn't collide, but they might as well have there, really getting their wires crossed on that occasion.
Not looking too phased about that as usual. But yeah, bit of an unusual miscue. Often you just see the deferring to the libero in a situation like that.
This time McKillican does handle it. Pelland up to Rowe. Gets it through the block and down for the kill. That is 15 for her tonight, along with 12 digs.
Yeah, that next one looked like it was a little closer to Shum even, but I think she wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. She let that libero step in front and play it. Paid off right away as MRU gets the point back.
So Lawrence now at the line. Bentley puts it up to Surinks, right at McKillican. And now Rowe, nearly blocked, still alive over the middle. Boyd this time unable to reach high enough to get it over and hits it right off the tape.
Back and forth these two teams go. There's a couple of good swings, but the net being a big factor here. Ultimately sending it back.
Bounced up high for Shum. Had the sting taken out of that attack. Now Gray finds the back row. Manitoba has opened up a 2-point lead here early on in the set.
Yeah, Manitoba looking cool, calm, and collected right now. Not the energy and enthusiasm we're seeing on the Cougar side, but they are just taking care of business efficiently.
Pelland, back set, Rowe! What a hit that was by Haley Rowe.
Yeah, she has done a good job once in a while trying to go down the line, but then you see her go cross court, and you know that is the shot, and she is doing that so well. Must practice going across to that corner at the attack line over and over and over because she's so consistent there hitting that area.
So Boyd now to serve. Bentley, Surinks can't get it cross court herself, but Ella Gray is there to tap that one down for the kill as it came just a little too close to the net.
Yeah, Ella Gray's been really solid, really consistent. Subbed out briefly, brought back in the back row, and yet she uses the height and size, really solid decision making. She's just been an asset to the team in multiple facets.
Surinks with the serve, handled by McKillican, and Thakboom going over the shoulder with the kill.
I haven't seen that for a while. It's sort of amazing that Thakboom hasn't been a bigger factor, particularly in that dominant third set win. But boy, once in a while she's going to remind you, hey, this is a national team level player. You got to pay a lot of attention to her.
So Rowe now back at the line. Bentley puts it up right at the net for Gray. It's now Rowe from that attack line. Good dig there by Surinks. McKillican fights off that attack by Badowski. The Bisons now go back to Gray, and she fires it sideline.
Another good kill there by Gray. Not too much McKillican could have done about that one. It's Manitoba really showing some flow in their offense right now. Looking crisp. Feels like Katrina Bentley's just been flying around the floor the entire night, and yet she's still putting these sets on a platter.
And a bit of a miscommunication there by the Cougars as to who was going to get that second ball after the initial reception by Lawrence. And that's an ace for Badowski. And it'll prompt a timeout to be called by Coach Shane Smith.
Now we can get another look at this play here, and yeah, it was just that simple miscommunication. Not quite sure whether the setter there, Pelland, called for some help or not, but certainly the body language suggested she changed her mind midpoint there. Really hasn't been an issue too much for MRU. We did see a bit of a miscue on a serve earlier, so a couple of communication-related points. Probably enough to warrant a timeout here as we had the biggest lead of the set, though it is just 3 points as these two teams back to the evenly matched opponents that we saw through sets 1 and 2.
Definitely a much better start for the Bisons in this set, however, as at this point in the last set, MRU already had a somewhat commanding lead that they just never relinquished, and so this is the exact response that Coach Bentley would have wanted to see out of his players to begin the fourth in this do-or-die set.
Oh, no doubt about it. Quite business-like, I would almost say, for Manitoba. They just have been going back to this sort of mistake-free or near mistake-free volleyball that we saw early on. They're letting Mount Royal make the mistakes once in a while. Don't seem to be forcing it. Don't seem to be, going outside of themselves, even though their backs are against the wall here. So impressive composure here, even in this huge do-or-die situation.
MRU looking to respond out of this timeout. They don't want to be forced to play in a fifth set here tonight, trying to close it out here in the fourth. That'll help their cause as Badowski commits the service error.
Plenty of fans for both teams still in attendance as well. A lot more on our side here in the broadcast, as well as those you can see.
Shum now with the serve. Bentley up to Gray. Really hung in the air for that one, and she ends up getting the point for her side after a net violation was committed by the Cougars.
Well, again, just the consistency. Manitoba, you just keep chipping away, not make mistakes. Eventually somebody will.
Gray now back to serve. Pelland gets it up for Lawrence. Unable to get the kill, and now Almonte fires. Over the middle, Thokboom unable to get a ton of power on that one. Almonte with the off-speed attack. And now Thokboom shows her power on that occasion. And she gets her 9th kill of the night.
Yeah, she was really elevated to get on that one. In fact, I feel like she might have even taken a little something off of it and still had plenty of zip on it to get that point. Good situational awareness by her, knowing she didn't necessarily have to try for the home run swing to get the point. Counts just the same.
And Marshall now checks back in for Thokboom in order to serve. Right up at the net, Bentley, one arm set to Katojo, handled by Shum. And now Gray almost lying on the floor as she bumped that to her teammate. Over the middle, Boyd! They get the deflection off the hands of the defense.
There you go. Boyd coming back, playing so well as she has since she checked in here in the third set. And ultimately, suddenly MRU, despite feeling like they've been trailing the whole time, have a real chance to tie here.
Strong serve there by Marshall, but handled. Now Almonte nearly blocked. She just barely keeps it alive. Coming in, Pelland with the swing. Misses her mark. She was basically an outside hitter on that point there.
She's got the size and build of an outside hitter, and why not? I wondered whether that one was deflected, but the official had a great view of it, says it was not.
So Almonte now with the serve. Pelland to Boyd. No one was there in the back corner for the Bisons.
Yeah, Boyd just continues to be insanely efficient. 750 is what she was hitting coming into this third set, which is easily the tops amongst all players. In fact, double anybody else at this point.
So Pelland now back to serve. She commits the service error. That is her 4th of the night, really the one blemish that she's had in this match, as she's really been doing it all for this Cougars team.
Yeah, a little tough when it's on a floater like that. If you're going to just try and float one in there, you got to make sure it's in. But yeah, she and Thakbu have both been excellent. The serves being the lone blemishes, as you say.
Rowe gets it through the hands of the block. Badowski unable to send it back. Another powerful kill by Haley Rowe.
Oh yeah, she just keeps doing her thing. She's putting her whole body into each and every single one of these swings. She is just a power hitter, and they are getting double blocks on her a lot more. Is it mattering? Not really, it seems like. Perhaps she's not getting fed quite as much with the extra defensive attention, but she's been just as effective when called on, and the emotions running just as high.
Oschewski back in to serve for the Cougars. And she commits the service error, so Manitoba is still able to cling to a slim lead here as we're about midway through the fourth.
You can really feel like Mount Royal is climbing right back into this and kind of taking the momentum, but they do keep having these service errors that are ending any chance at a big run to actually overtake Manitoba.
Long back set to Rowe. Too powerful for Bentley to handle.
I have a little concern here as the Bisons, because it is Manitoba almost dictating every point here, for better or for worse. They have made a few mistakes, but they've also stolen a few points here. And it's just surprising that we haven't seen more Syrinx for Manitoba in this set, despite the fact that they still have the lead.
Bachboom back in the front row, placing Marshall as Boyd goes back to serve. Bentley has to really run to get to that one, bump it up to Gray. Now Pellin to Thakbu over the middle. Bit of a wild swing there by her.
Yeah, the sets to her in the middle are also a little different than you'd normally see. I mean, you can really just pop these ones up there, just so incredibly high. And she does get up and gets to them, but sometimes when she's way up there and you're also twisting your body and trying to get a lot of mustard on it, it's really tough to be as on top of it as you'd want to be.
And there's another ace. New career high, 8 for Rhea Syrinx.
And what a bright future she has. What a beginning to a career for the National Rookie of the Year.
It's a pretty bright present, too.
No doubt about that.
This time, the ball pops all the way back to the Manitoba side. Badowski over the middle. Couple of big points here for Manitoba to push the lead to 4.
And we've seen Syrinx make a big difference from the service line before, but it was always when her team was trailing. This is the first time she's been up there in that position to really help put a set away, or at least distance in a crucial spot. The timing had been a little off. This is absolutely ideal for them. We did see that the Cougars called a timeout and did successfully ice her in the last set, so not surprising to see one here now, even though it is the final timeout for Mount Royal.
Mentioned earlier in the broadcast that none of the matches between these two teams this season were pushed to 5 sets. We've not had a match tonight here in the U Sports quarterfinals that went to 5. We had one sweep, Dalhousie sweeping UQAM, and then we had 2 4-set victories with Trinity Western defeating McGill and UBC upsetting Brock. Manitoba trying to be the first team to force 5 here at Nationals.
Some coastal dominance here early on, Central Canada. Both the Central conferences are out already as far as the medals. The Quebec and Ontario teams gone. And here we're guaranteed to see 3 Canada West representatives along with Dal from the AUS into the Final 4.
So coming out of the timeout, we'll see if they iced the server as they did in the last set, as Syrinx winds up once again. Does get it over. Shum. That is very nearly a good kill there by Shum, but the Bison scramble to keep it alive. Thakboom diving once again is Bentley to save it. Now Almonte. What an impressive swing there. Leaning backwards as she hit it.
Yeah, she just gets these odd hits where the flexibility, the elasticity, and I think that's a misconception around volleyball. Sometimes you look for the biggest, strongest people, but really it's often the most flexible and elastic players that they can actually get that momentum going and whip forward, not only have more range, but actually get more power on very surprising balls as well.
And speaking of power, Rowe has no shortage of that as she hits her favorite cross-court attack once again.
So good, so consistent, so needed right now for Mount Royal. As high as the confidence is on that side, you better believe they don't want to go to 5 here, and they need a run to pull themselves back in it. We haven't really seen a big comeback in any of these sets yet.
And that very nearly was a free kill for Shum, but was saved by the Bisons. They're doing all they can to get this over the net, and they do. Helen over the middle to Thuckboom. Too much for Arnold to handle as Manitoba was really playing with fire on that rally.
Yeah, it looked like there might have been some net contact there. That thing is certainly jumping around. Tough to say who it was, but yes, Manitoba did manage to stay alive a couple of times. Looks like Manitoba probably got away with a net violation too, but the result is the same.
Bentley puts it up for Almonte, unable to get the kill. Shum sent back. Badowski with the rejection.
That's tough. A smaller player like Shum sort of boxed into not really being able to step into that. Cornered with 2 blockers. Really had nowhere to go.
So Badowski now goes back to the line. Couple blocks for her tonight. McKillican pops it up. Oschewski hits that one too long. Potentially crucial mistake there by the Cougars as Manitoba back up by 5 once again, just 4 points away as Ella Lawrence now will check back in.
Again, it's remarkable. I'm not sure I really recall almost any unforced errors from Manitoba in this set, and there's been a number from MRU. It's probably the difference at this point.
Pelland, Thuckboom. That combination, the 2 senior leaders, when MRU needs them most here late in the 4th.
Yep, absolutely. No time to mess around now. Go to Rowe, go to Thuckboom.
Shum with the serve. Bentley up to Gray. Nearly rejected. Now Almonte fires it a little bit higher. Pelland goes for it herself, but Surinks was there. Now Gray. Great dig there by Shum. Free ball for Manitoba. They have another chance to attack. Gray again! Paints the corner.
Wow, Ella Gray has been such a difference maker here in this set. She's got 5 kills in this set alone, bringing her up to 11 on the game, and she's just behind Surinks for the team lead. Who would have thought that?
Gray now will serve. McKillican puts it up high for Pelland. Again, Manitoba's a chance to set up their attack. Almonte just barely gets it over the net. Rowe from the attack line, dug out by Arnold. Now Katojo over the middle. MRU goes to Thuckboom. Katojo deflected that attack. Now Surinks from the back row. Shum with the dig, joust at the net. Punched up by Pelland, and Thuckboom gets the kill. Scramble rally by MRU.
That was one of the more fun rallies we've had in quite a while there, Jake. A lot of good swings and a lot of play at the net, getting just enough to slow these balls down so that they can be dug out. But ultimately, it is Thuckboom putting it in that impossible spot there in the back corner. And they're leaving in to serve this time.
Thuckboom sends it across. Bentley, Katojo nearly rejected. Now Almonte tapping it over. MRU putting a lot of pressure on the net front. And Lawrence gets the kill. Looked like it might have rolled over the tape to the other side. And the Cougars are hanging by a thread here in this 4th.
Yeah, from this perspective, it looked like it went through the net. Obviously didn't, but yeah, just perfect touch there, maybe a little bit of luck. All in all, though, it made for a nearly impossible shot here as MRU's a little run away from being right in this.
Emma Benson is checked back in for the Bisons, replacing Gray. Bentley bumps it up to Surinks, and that one is well too long. And Coach Bentley will call a timeout. MRU has cut the lead to just 2, 22-20. Manitoba, they can surely taste the fifth set at this point, but the Cougars not letting them pull away just yet.
Yeah, that's right. It is the Cougars now who are doing the bending and not breaking. They are just staying in these long enough for Manitoba to make a mistake, which is something they hadn't done almost any of earlier on. And that last play, I'm just so impressed by Bentley. She has been flying all over the court, the setter here for Manitoba, and I don't understand how she's diving away, manages to have a lovely set for a pipe, and then Surinks just misses it. I mean, that is really good execution, all except through the swing. You really can't be too upset if you're Manitoba right now. They're playing well. They've just missed on a couple, and the Cougars are so explosive that you just open the door. If you just blink, suddenly they're right back in this game, and it's 2-point matchup.
Bentley's doing it all without scraping her knees either.
Amazing. Again, I don't know how that happens.
Perhaps even more impressive than all the sets that she's putting up out there. So coming out of the timeout, Thakboom will serve once again. MRU looking to cut the lead to just 1, because they still have a chance to close out this match in 4. However, a critical service error by Dolly Thakboom. And that'll put Almonte, one of the top Manitoba servers, at the line.
MRU made the gamble. They left her in there. She really can make a difference as a server, but a few errors today. Overall, a net positive, though, in the serving.
Pelland, Lawrence, stopped initially by the block. Rowe taps it over. Manitoba again going with that strategy of not playing up at the net, trying to get those digs and just unable to do so on that occasion.
Well, not even not playing up at the net, but really playing back. I mean, it shows that they know her, right? Like, that's what she does. She hits it deep in cross court, but she's smart enough to be self-aware and know that they know her, and so she makes the next move and puts that in and makes it look very easy. Good job by Rowe.
Pelland now with the serve. Bentley pushes it out to Surinks. She just misses her mark. MRU now with a chance to tie.
And I think if you're Manitoba, you got to keep going back to Surinks. You got to trust your star is going to figure it out here. There's a couple significantly long swings from her.
We will see who the Bisons go to if they can receive this serve from Pelland, which they do. Bumped out. It is to Surinks, and she gets the back corner. Toby Kerr vindicated up in the broadcast booth as Surinks gets a massive kill. Yeah, it's that point.
That's right. Well, not the biggest call in the world to go to the Rookie of the Year, but she came through there. McKillican misjudged.
So Kotojo now at the line. That ball right up at the net. Podolsky gets it down, and we are going to 5. The Manitoba Bisons, after a rough third set, come back to take the 4th.
Unbelievable, Jake. Manitoba, they were leading. They were just not making any mistakes. Is that even the best set that they've played so far? I'd argue that first set where they lost, they actually played a lot better than that 4th one. But hey, if you can win while not maybe executing offensively and not playing your best, that is a great sign. That's the sign of a great team, in fact. So I think that there is so much to like in Manitoba because they could kick it up to another level. If they can continue the near mistake-free volleyball that they were playing and get a little more efficient offensively, get Surinks going a little more, not just be relying on Ella Gray as much as they did in that 4th set, they could go to another gear. Yet at the same time, if you're MRU, you got to feel pretty good because in many ways you were in full control of that set. Your own errors ultimately cost it for you, but when they figured it out there and put a string of points together, they pulled themselves back in it very quickly. So it's an amazingly different set of teams here. The contrast is phenomenal in the style, in the personnel, and yet they've been so even. So I'm just so excited here that we get 5 full sets between these two squads.
So it is Manitoba who takes set 4 by a score of 25-22. You're watching the 2023 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship presented by Macassa on CBC. So it is 1-15 here in the 5th set of the U Sports quarterfinals here in War Memorial Gym between the 3rd seed Mount Royal Cougars and the 6th seed Manitoba Bisons. The UBC Thunderbirds await the winner of this match in the semifinals. And what a way to end an action-packed full day of volleyball here in the U Sports National Championships.
Feels like the games have just been getting better and better all throughout. As we see the Manitoba fans, they are still here in full spirit right now. Love those two guys, ever present with the pans and the wooden spoons.
And nearly starting us off with an ace are the Bisons. Free ball on their side. Surings flies in. It's not often we've seen her really catch a ball like that, at least in the last couple sets, but she got all of that one.
Well, it's not often that she's really been able to swing away like that because the defense has been so smothering. They've been double blocking her all the time, and that's what happened when you leave the Rookie of the Year wide open.
So good start to the set for the Bisons. MRU looking to respond, and Haley Rowe does. Trading blows, the 2-star outside hitters.
What a start to this final set here. Yes, both of the big swingers there hammering those volleyballs, not showing any fatigue here as we hit this 5th set.
So Rowe will serve. Bentley pushes it out to Surinks, and that will be another kill. Make that 17 on the night for Surinks. It's not been easy in the slightest for her, but the Bisons will be hoping she can really turn it on when it matters most here late.
Heck of a start for her. Though an incredible effort on the other side there for Pellin. Can you tell we're in the Nationals here? She goes slamming into the wall there on a very low percentage ball, but you got to do everything. Leave it all out there here. It's do or die. 5th set in Nationals.
Joust at the net. It's on the MRU, rather the Manitoba side, as Surinks knocks it over. Thokboom off the hands of the block. Still up in the air. Surinks rejected by Thokboom.
Thokboom, I think, did it herself right there, but she and Pelland, not often you see the setter as a real asset as far as size to block, but they formed quite a wall there, but it does look like it was Thokboom squaring that up, reading the swing going cross court, and right there to deny it.
Shum with the serve. Bentley out to Surinks once again. Shum gets down to it, just barely kept alive. Free ball for Manitoba. Bentley over the middle, Badowski right at Rowe. Players colliding on the court. Manitoba another chance. Surinks comes flying in. Shum keeps it alive. The ball's over the net. Bentley. Surinks again! And it is the Rhea Soaring show here to begin the fifth for Manitoba.
Wow, bodies flying everywhere. Shum and Pellin collide hard. Shum laying out again, and Soaring's just willing that point after MRU did their best Manitoba impression there, as Pellin is limping now noticeably. She collided hard with Shum after going into the wall to play before. So we'll be keeping an eye on the mobility of the setter there. But you better believe she's not going to come off the court unless she absolutely has to.
Bentley with the serve. It's an ace. Ella Lawrence perplexed by the call, but at least from our angle, it looked pretty clear that it hit the sideline.
Yeah, I don't think that was particularly close. The line judge right there. No reaction from the bench at all.
That is the first ace for Manitoba by someone other than Surinks or Almonte, I believe. Thokboom just gets it over. Surinks taps it across, just barely kept alive by the Cougars. Lawrence. Now it's into the hands of Gray. Diving dig by Rowe. Thokboom over the middle. Big point for the Cougars.
Yeah, Thokboom there. She's really tried some very ambitious swings where she kind of twists her body midair and tries to pick the sideline. A couple haven't gone well. That one was beautiful. That one is her stepping up and basically an unblockable shot if she can actually do that.
Maddie Marshall checking back in once again to serve. She replaces Thokboom. A 4-3 advantage for Manitoba here early in the fifth. Bentley to Gray. Lawrence fires it across, but easily handled. Now Surings powers it off of Lawrence.
And it's taken until this fifth set, but Manitoba is just finally feeding their superstar, feeding Surings. And even though she probably had her worst set in the fourth, she's come out like a house on fire here in set number 5. And the most deadly server in this tournament so far has a chance to add to her tally.
Already 8 aces on the night. Prevented from getting one there. Lawrence nearly gets the kill. Arnold with a fantastic save. It's back on the MRU side. Over the middle, Boyd. It's called out of play. That was a close call, but a big one for Manitoba.
Wow, just missing, and Boyd had been so consistent too. I'm not sure if Surings missed that or just did the Olay and let it go, but Arnold keeping that alive is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You get to this point, Jake, where, of course, everybody is trying as hard as they can in all games, especially at this level. But you get to the fifth set of a national championship game, and you see that people can find this extra level of disregard for their body, for their well-being, this extra focus, this extra level of energy, no matter the hour, no matter how much volleyball they've played, no matter how many hard hits on this floor they've taken. These women are out here just performing at an unbelievable level, and it's beautiful to watch, frankly. They're just playing their absolute hearts out, and one of these teams is going to have their hearts broken, and one of these teams is going to be tired but so happy here, and I don't know who's going to come out on top here, because this has just been a treat from start to finish.
Julia Arnold listed as having 14 kills on the box score tonight. Of note on the other side, Sarah McKillican has tied her career high 26 digs for the MRU libero. It's now coming out of the timeout. Surings will serve once again. And she commits the service error, her fourth of the night.
She's been so good serving there. You live with those. And they've tried to ice her a bunch with mixed results, but they do get her here in the biggest of spots.
Pellin now back to serve. And that is a service error. The Cougars, they've really struggled at the line tonight. Their 18th service error, just 5 aces.
You wonder, she's moving around a lot better there, but the injuries, sometimes something as simple as your launch on your serve can be just thrown off a little bit. by being banged up, but that's a big point for Manitoba.
Badowski now with the serve. Pellin pushes it out to Rowe. That is 23 kills on the night for Haley Rowe, a match high.
Wow, she has been just so good. And even though she maybe hasn't been the focal point of the attack in the same way she was in the first couple of sets, whenever called upon, just so solid.
Hitting right around 400 as well on massive volume. It's been a fantastic night for the MRU superstar, but another service error by the Cougars. They can't afford many more of those, as the two teams will now switch sides, but in a set that ends so much quicker than any of the other four, any errors that you make really have that much more of an effect.
Yeah, MRU, I mean, they still look very positive. The body language still good, but they got to clean it up a little bit here because that fourth set was available to them, and this fifth set also seems to be, but they've got to execute.
So it will be Ella Gray now to serve. And that nearly drops for an ace. It is a free ball for the Bisons. Bentley, Almonte, good dig by Pelland. Now Shum fires it to the back corner. Put up for Surinks. She can't get the kill from the pipe. Rowe nearly drops, but Almonte will fire it back across, just hits it a little bit too long.
It's in these moments where every point is so crucial. You really know this game's a game of millimeters. I mean, these players getting just that much on a partial block or a partial dig, able to pop it up just enough that another teammate can get there, who pops it up just enough that another teammate can get it across. I mean, any of these little plays, all the practice, all the work through the year, this is when it all counts, as the difference between these teams is so negligible.
Talkboom back in the front row for the Cougars. Boyd at the line. And that nearly drops for an ace for the Cougars. They can set up a play here. Pellin, Talkboom! The Cougars crashing to the floor in celebration as they have a chance to tie us up with one more point.
Huge run, sort of got a chance to shift the momentum without taking the timeout thanks to the switch after 8 points. Suddenly it's as close as it can possibly be, which just feels so fitting for right now and for this matchup.
About halfway through this fifth set. Boyd again puts a tough serve to handle, but Katrina Bentley 1-on-2 at the net, and she gets her first kill of the night. Make that her second, rather.
She has been maybe too unsung of a hero for them. She has been so ridiculously good and must be so tired, and to pick up that point in that spot, that's just indescribable.
Pelland to Rowe, another kill! And speaking of the Bison team defeats Surinks, at this point the Cougars, obviously Talkboom has done well, but with Haley Rowe as hot as she has been tonight, you have to think she has to be the number one option.
Well, now she's into the back row, so we'll see whether they try and get it to her in the pipe or not.
And another service error, 20 on the night for the Cougars. And in a match this close, that's a big deficit to be having at the service line.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is it feels like it's regressed a little bit because they were serving pretty well early on, but nonetheless, the rest of their play's been so strong, they're right in it.
Katojo now with the serve, and that one goes too long, so it's right back into the hands of MRU.
Boy, the tension on every single point here, Jake. It's just insane.
As we near midnight in Alberta, it's nearly 1 a.m. in Manitoba. The family members and fans watching hanging by a thread here in the nightcap. Surinks from the attack line gets the end line.
Wow. Surings, so aggressive, and she likes to use the very back of the court quite often. We saw her miss a couple times late in the 4th set, and yet there she is executing to perfection. Not sure anyone could have gotten a hand on it even if they tried.
11-9 advantage for the Bisons as Bentley serves a strong one across, and Thokboom whiffs on it. One of the most efficient attackers in the entire country.
Maybe just a little over eager on that one, just off on the timing when they'd been so in sync for most of the night.
And that prompts a timeout to be called, the second and final of the set for MRU. The Bisons are 3 points away from making it to the semifinals, but as the Cougars showed in the last set, they definitely have plenty of fight in them.
Oh, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. This is the thing, though. It's the serves from MRU that really have them behind the 8 ball. Otherwise, I think this has been pretty much a dead even 5th set as the overall match has been as well. And so MRU knows, it's not that they just believe it, they know that they can still control this, they can still affect the outcome, but there's Manitoba just playing so solid, making so few mistakes, and having Surings step up in a big way, showing up in a big spot. Again, the rookie who had a great Canada West playoffs, and now already having a great start to the U Sports Championship. You mentioned how late it is for some of those watching. Eleanor Lawrence is still watching her granddaughter from Ontario at almost 2 a.m. How about that?
Coming out of the timeout, Bentley to serve once again. Pellin over the middle, Thokboom. This time she connects, but it's controlled by the Bisons. Gray gets it through the block.
Wow, Ella Gray. She has been so efficient and so good. Just seems to show up in the biggest spots. Back row, front row, offense, defense. She has been great.
Tied her season high with 13 kills that she set last week in the bronze medal match against Winnipeg. Ella Lawrence nearly blocked. It's popped up to Rowe. Arnold digs it out. Just barely kept alive. Free ball for MRU. McKillican to Pelland. The setter with the attack across. Now Surings popped up. It's right up over the tape. And Ella Gray, season high 14th kill to set up match point.
Oh my goodness. Just frantic. Strange to see the setter set in that situation instead of Thokboom. Here is Manitoba now, a chance to win.
Bentley, the most consistent server on this Bison's team. Pelland, Thokboom! MRU still has a chance. They need 4 more in a row.
Wow, and we'll see whether Thokboom gets the chance to serve or not. She's got a number of errors, but also helped spring a run in the 4th set.
Coach Shane Smith is sticking to his star. Golly Thokboom with the ball in her hands. Another match point for Manitoba. Bentley, Surings, and that is it! Manitoba has slain the dragon. They defeat Mount Royal for the first time this season and advance to the semifinals.
What can you say about the effort that Manitoba put in here? A team that has just beaten you over and over, a rival, and they just never gave up, even in that 3rd set when MRU looked dominant, absolutely dominant. Manitoba looked so resilient. They didn't have the big, loud energy that the Cougars did. They just stayed calm. They stayed businesslike. That's the other approach, and it prevailed today. Incredible comeback, and they just love playing in this floor here, Jake, as they also upset UBC in the quarterfinals at War Memorial Gym.
And we get ready now for the Mikasa Team Players of the Game Award as Manitoba can celebrate. This is their first win, not just this season, but first win over MRU in 5 years. Couldn't have come at a bigger time for this Bison's team.
Absolutely remarkable.
Number 2, playing left side, was Chloe Shaw.
Chloe Shum receives the award for the Cougars. She was second on the team in digs tonight behind McKillican. And Ella Gray with her season high in kills tonight, including a couple very clutch ones at the end, is named the player of the game on the side of the Bisons, who will now face UBC here at War Memorial Gym for the third time after beating them twice in the Canada West quarterfinals.
Wow, what a chance for revenge there for Manitoba. I think you said it perfectly as far as slaying the Dragon. MRU had, I believe, a 15-game winning streak at some point during the year. They're one of the top teams in Canada. And listen, the Cougars, they should keep their heads up high. They played really, really well. Manitoba just executed slightly better, made a fewer mistakes, but these were two of the absolute best, and what a treat to see them go head-to-head tonight.
And talk about peaking at the right time during the season. The Bisons entered Canada West playoffs as the 6th seed, and now they are one of the final 4 teams remaining at the U Sports National Championships, and they are guaranteed to play for a medal. What color? We'll find out tomorrow, but for now at least, something to celebrate for this Manitoba team.
Yeah, incredible. If you look at we've just flashed up the box score there. They probably lost this game on aggregate, actually, but they were able to come through when it mattered most. A team effort through and through. I think Ella Gray is a great choice for the player of the game because not only did she have the 12 kills, she was so solid defensively as well. And it was really, it could have been a couple people. It could have been Surinks as well, especially considering how strong she finished for Manitoba. I think Bentley really should have got great consideration because, wow, was she phenomenal as a setter, just flying around, throwing her body left and right, and still putting those sets in the perfect spot. It was just a great team effort for Manitoba. I can't imagine how great those players in gold are feeling right now.
Of course, it's not over for MRU just yet either, as they will play in the consolation round tomorrow. They will face Brock, the 2 and the 3 seed, playing each other in the consolation semifinal, while it will be the 6 and the 7 seed playing in the semis. But that's why you play the tournaments like these.
Right.
A couple of great upsets here tonight to end the quarterfinals, and we're going to have the head coach, the victorious head coach, Ken Bentley, coming over to chat with us here. Yeah. Hey, Coach, congratulations on the big win tonight. Coming in, you're playing a team in Mount Royal that you lost to 4 times already this season. What was different tonight?
Well, I'm going to quote my father-in-law, who said there's 2 kinds of hitters in baseball, those that are hot and those that are due. So that's for him. So we were due for this one. But, we played great. I was really proud of our group. And, we did our homework, and man, we just hung in there and just played some tenacious volleyball. So I was really proud of the group tonight.
Well, Ella Gray winning player of the game. She was phenomenal, obviously, attacking, defending, doing everything. Could you talk a little bit about her effort tonight?
Yeah, she was a 6th rotation beast today. She served, she passed, she defended, blocked, did a great job with her game plan. Yeah, she did a super job today. And, this is her hometown, so it was great for her to get that award. And she deserved it, man. Player of the game. She played phenomenal.
Not long turnaround before the semifinals, taking on tomorrow night. You're facing UBC, who you defeated here in War Memorial Gym just a few weeks ago. How are you approaching this matchup against a familiar team with not a ton of prep time now?
Yeah, like you said, we've played them here before. Obviously, what happened a few weeks ago means nothing for tomorrow. So, the turnaround time is what it is. At this time of the year, it's irrelevant. I don't think about that at all. We'll have enough time to get prepared, and I can sleep in April. I don't need to sleep yet. So we'll do our homework. We'll get ready. Obviously, they're playing at home, and they had a great win against Brock, and they played very well. So, and to win this thing, you've got to go through Canada West. That's just the bottom line, and so that's not a surprise to our team.
Thank you so much, Coach. Congrats on the win. Hope you get some sleep tonight to prepare for the semifinals tomorrow, and good luck then.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, cheers.
That was Ken Bentley, the coach of the Manitoba Bisons, back in the U Sports semifinals for the first time since 2014. Our next broadcast is tomorrow when UQAM faces McGill in the U Sports Constellation semifinal. A reminder that the Constellation Round games will be broadcast exclusively on CBC Sports YouTube channel. Please visit usports.ca for the broadcast schedule and channels. And our final score today ended up being 3-2 in favor of Manitoba over Mount Royal, our 5-set match of the quarterfinals. On behalf of Toby Kerr and our entire U Sports on CBC crew, this is Jake McGrail speaking. Thank you for joining us tonight, and goodbye from Vancouver.
Hey U Sports fans, check out shop.usports.ca for this week's promotional item from the Nike Team collection. Visitez le shop.usport.ca pour en profiter de la promotion de la semaine de la collection Nike Team. U Sports on CBC, les championnats U Sport. Brought to you in part by, vous êtes présenté par Nike Team, Just Do It. Faites-le. Baron, exclusive supplier of U Sports Championship rings. Le fournisseur exclusif des bagues de championnat U Sport. Fox 40, celebrating a decade of the Fox 40 U Sports Coach of the Year program. Fier partenaire des prix de l'entraîneur de l'année U Sport depuis 10 ans. By Veriburn, proud medical supplier to university sports since 1979. Fier partenaire du sport universitaire depuis 1979. The Government of Canada. Le gouvernement du Canada. Et par Mikasa, l'étoile montante du volleyball, le V200W, ballon officiel de U-Sport. And by Mikasa, makers of volleyball's hottest star, the V200W, the official volleyball of U-Sports.